He has worked across 20 plus business domains in the SME sector. We are joined by Mr. Rajesh Panditt.
What we are really dealing here, we are dealing with people's mindset. Please understand, because processes are going to be run by people.
How do you redesign a process in a way that improves control and productivity without turning the business into a slow-moving bureaucracy?
Ideas can be in plenty. It's the problem when execution comes. And that's where we really crafted a complete new range of solution from our consulting offering.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to FaceTime with Leaders, powered by Directors Institute, World Council of Directors. I'm your host, Sunny Bancholi. Now, today's episode is for anyone who has ever thought, we have a strategy, but why isn't it showing up in revenue? Or we implemented the system, so why is the team still stuck? Or the classic one, customers are coming, but cash isn't. Because my guest today is a man who thrives in that exact space, where strategy meets execution and execution meets results. We are joined by Mr. Rajesh Panditt, Director, Global Consulting Practice at BIZMARK, a specialist in business transformation, sales and marketing, customer lifecycle management, and end-to-end delivery from strategy and process re-engineering to IT implementation and deployment. Mr. Pandit has worked across senior roles in the IT and information industry with organizations like Walters Kluwer, John Wiley, PCS, and more, bringing deep experience across sales, marketing, account management, operations, and process development. Now, what makes his journey especially interesting is this. He has worked across 20 plus business domains in the SME sector, from engineering and biotechnology to cosmetics, building materials, telecom, printing, events, advertising, finance, you just name it. So, Mr. Rajesh Panditt, welcome to FaceTime with Leaders. It is a real pleasure to have you with us today.
Thank you so much, Sunny. Thank you, everyone. And it's my absolute pleasure to be part of this entire journey. Thank you for having me on your show today. It gives me great pleasure talking to all of you and probably sharing some few insights with all of them as to what we do and what best can be, shared with all of them. It's always a privilege to be part of such kind of conversations and podcasts. I look forward for answering to whatever questions you're going to really, throw up to me. Let's try to keep as quick and simple as possible.
Absolutely. And looking forward to a great conversation ahead.
Thank you. Me too.
All right. So let's dive right in. Mr. Rajesh, you have had this rare kind of career where you did not just stay in one function. You have worked across sales, marketing, operations, account management, and process development, and then stepped into transformation where you are responsible for outcomes. So now let me ask you this. At what point did your work shift from helping business improve to being accountable for the result, and what changed in how you showed up as a leader every day?
So thank you for that question, Sunny. It's very interesting because let me help you to understand the journey. 2009, when we actually started, consulting practice. Coming from MNC background, documentations, and that is where the entire, journey starts. That you are good at documentation, you understand things, and So one of our IT clients, he approached us, and he said, my team is really struggling. How can we really take them to next level? We want to really expand very fast. So we started with this entire strategic documentation, giving them, all roadmaps and how it has to be done. And everyone was happy. They were happy. We were happy. We got paid. Now the problem starts when they went back. And after 3 months, they came back again. They said, it was good that you wrote what all things were, but things are not working the way, whatever is said over there. And that was such a big, eye-opener for me. We suddenly started relooking at what have we done wrong. I mean, something is really not working. And that was the point where we actually switched, talking only about document to actually looking into stepping down to the real journey with people, the transformation, the journey, right? Now from transformation, we started moving into execution. So we picked up a 1-year assignment with them. And that was one of the most important point for us. that we were able to give them what they really wanted in that 1 year. And in 2013, we got them a merger acquisition opportunity from a US-based company. And that was the time they realized that it was just not a document, but it was actually implementable thing. And for us, it was a very important learning because we realized that you need to get into execution as well. So that's the journey. I look forward for such tremendous opportunities where we know people have difficulty because people can think, ideas can be in plenty. It's the problem when execution comes. And that's where we really crafted a complete new range of solution from our consulting offering. And that was the first journey. That was the first eye-opener for us, that it is not only the documents, but it is more about how it goes into implementation. And that's how the journey started. So that was a big eye-opener for us.
Great. So, Mr. Pandit, that turning point perspective brings such clarity to the shift from advising to owning outcomes. And your cross-industry exposure adds remarkable depth to how you interpret execution challenges.
Yeah.
So, what a great start to this conversation. Let's move ahead with segment 2, the engine room transformation that actually moves revenues. Now, Mr. Pandit, you have said something that I love because it's brutally real. Customer lifecycle from acquisition, retention till money in the bank. Now, most companies are decent at getting customers, but very few build a system that consistently, converts all that effort into cash and profitability.
Yes.
So here's my question to you. When a client tells you sales are happening, but profits are not improving, what are the first 3 things you check before you even recommend a solution?
So, Sunny, I'll give you a very simple example here. Do you go to gym? Do you use treadmill?
Yes,
do you use treadmill? Yeah. Amazing. So you're running in the same place, and the digital says you run 5 kilometers. You've gone nowhere. Right? That's a very simple way of looking at it, right? And most of the people feel this. That, okay, we are doing so much, we are active, we're busy, we're doing this, everything is happening, customers are coming in, nothing is really moving. And we see this happening across each and every domain. I'm not talking about one domain. I'm talking across all the domains. We see this happening. And let me help our viewers to really understand this very simple 3 steps, right? So what do we really look at it? So let's start with the very simple concept of variable cost which creeps in. So let's take an example. You are doing a sale, right? But now marketing is unable to get you leads. So a lead which was costing probably 50 rupees earlier is now costing 150. This is a simple example for people to understand. So social media, and that's their lead engine. Now, a cost of 50 rupees have moved to 150. The quality of lead has gone very, very poor. Right? Now, under such circumstances, these are the real problems, right? So the variable cost is constantly going up. People are going and meeting out customers. They are not able to close sales. Now, these are typical problems because they do not understand so many things of sales. So this cost is going to constantly escalate. So what actually happens is we need to understand how sales and marketing are working in together. A marketing which is not able to generate that amount of high quality leads will first step in this year. So we will first go out and check the cost of acquisition of lead, the cost of conversion. So now if you look at the first journey, acquisition, the leads, right? That is where the first thing will step in. That is where a lot of people will have great difficulty understanding this. They keep on spending. And the lead cost is keep continuously going on. Now, this I'm talking about if it is a social media or online-based lead generation. If it is actually field force generating leads, now this cost will further go up. Because now here there is a lot of other costs which are going to add up. So if we take this as the first indicator, I request everyone to first start looking at this variable cost. Very, very essential. The second one which I want all of you to look at is cost of acquisition versus lifetime value. People do not have any idea. They do not consider this as one of the important factors. But trust me, cost of acquisition of a customer is something that I will first go out and look at. As to what is that people are actually investing here. Because people do not count this. They only look at the end product. Okay, I'm having a sale. Nobody's looking at what is my cost of acquisition. And when I look at cost of acquisition versus lifetime value of that customer, we immediately realize that there are gaps and there are gray areas. So we need to immediately fix this. So the second point, which I want all people to really look at. Point number 3 is going to be the sales mix. Now, let me help you to understand this more clearly, because this will help a lot of people to get more clarity. Let's take an example. You have a basket of 5 products, of which 3 are doing much higher quality of profits, that is earning good. There are 2 which are low hanging fruit, low cost. Now, because they are more quick to sell, a lot of sales efforts are going to go around that. So your probably sales numbers are inflating, but you're not getting money in bank the way you should have got, because the product which are difficult to be sold, or to be, the sales team to go out and do more efforts, they'll always try to sell something which is like quick. Now, when you look at the product mix and overall, value that they are generating for the company, you will realize that, yeah, we got the sales, but there's no money in the bank at end of the year, or probably at end of the month. Now, these are 3 things which I strongly recommend everyone within their team, their company, their environment to go out and check, because this will allow them to understand whether they're running on treadmill, they're actually doing running outside. Because that's where they will have money in the bank. That is where people will start getting a lot of insights into fine tuning their current processes and systems. If you get this thing right, I'm very sure you will start moving the actual money in your bank, which is available for you in your growth and profitability. That is where people will start having more money to go out and do their expansion plans. So that's very, very critical, very important. I believe I have addressed your question.
Absolutely, Mr. Pandit. And that breakdown makes strategy to cash gap incredibly clear. Your emphasis on revenue quality, fulfillment discipline, and cash conversion is a powerful framework for any business leader.
Yes.
So thank you for sharing those insights with us.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
All right. So let's talk about the scary part now. Mr. Pandit, the moment you say process engineering, half of the room hears more reports, more approvals, and now I need permission to breathe. But you have worked across SMEs where speed matters and people wear 5 hats. So how do you redesign a process in a way that improves control and productivity, without turning the business into a slow-moving bureaucracy?
So, Sunny, look at it from a very, very simple perspective. All MSME sector, the SME sector where we work, right? Processes are more driven by people going out and doing their work. Okay. How it is getting into system is never one of their requirements or tasks. So as they scale up, as they grow, they start realizing that then there's too much information flowing, but we don't know what is flowing inside out. Now, that's a time when people will either have some processes or they will go for process reengineering. Now, as soon as we say process reengineering or process, all the users inside the company are going to feel one, either they're going to be policing, so someone is policing on them. Second mindset is either they are going to be too pressurized, because whatever they are doing throughout the day is now going to get captured somewhere. Right. So you understand this thing very clearly. It is kind of a dirty word in the structure, because but what we are really dealing here, we are dealing with people's mindset. Please understand, because processes are going to be run by people. If it's a production environment where everything is happening automated, then it's a different story altogether. But if we are dealing with people, and if we are looking at this as one of the very essential components, then processes are good, but it is all going to be run by people. Now, under such circumstances, what happens is that we need to understand the way people will respond to this particular process. Now, what I strongly believe is a process or a process reengineering is not about creating redundancy or repetition. We are talking here purely from a perspective that minimal processes have to be brought in. We cannot have redundancy in the work. Like, I know companies where we have worked and we suddenly realize that the same data is captured onto multiple Excel sheets. Why? No clue why they're doing that. But somebody needs some different type of report, somebody else requests some other type of report. And those people are constantly doing that. I mean, now there is a lot of redundancy in the system. I strongly believe if process reengineering is not helping people to save at least 30 minutes per day, then we are just talking about something fancy. Now, how do you really get this into place? So let me help our viewers to really get down with this 3 simple breakdowns so they will understand how this framework really works, right? Whenever we go out and work with such kind of companies, our first structure is we are not input focused, we are output focused. So we care more about output. We are more focused on what is happening at the output level. Is this clear? So there's nothing we are focusing on input. We are more focused on how the output is going to be generated. The very simple here is that whenever we focus on output based, we then create a simple structure called as exception based reporting. Yeah. So which means I don't need reports every 5 minutes. I need report only in case of exception. Now, these 2 things, when we bring on table to the client, a much bigger change or shift happens. And that should be the power of reengineering of a process. If process is going to create a lot of redundancy, then there is a much bigger issue. Okay. When we focus on output, then there is a complete different understanding of it. So the structure has to really go on this line. Now, understand the exception-based reporting. This is very, very important clue to all of them who are going to listen to our podcast. So that's very, very important. The second thing which I always look at it as, and I mentioned always and earlier also, is no redundancy. Single only. If one person enters, everything else should follow. Automation has to happen at that level. Reengineering of process has to happen at that level, right? So let us look at it from a point of view where there are 3 people in this process, and all 3 are maintaining different sets of report because different people are looking into it. Now, that redundancy is creating so much of chaos. Now, people do not understand when I say chaos, it's digital chaos. Now, at any organization, if you go out and talk to people, everybody will have that one secret file. One secret file that they all have, they all maintain. Now, why they maintain, nobody knows. That is purely need based because somebody is asking that. Now, a process, if re-engineered, should have these things removed. This thing should be removed so that the redundancy goes out. Eliminate redundancy. That's our second point. The third point in this is that we create guardrails. Right now, why guardrails? Because we need decision to be taken right. Now, in a very complex structure, we were working with one of the organizations. Now, the problem there was that for everything, the director has to approve. If it is an OTP, he approves. If it is a payment, he approves. Now, you understand at the level of the board, if person is busy doing all these things and somebody walking to his cabin left, right, and center, then there is such a huge problem. So we gave them a very simple solution, guardrails. So what are guardrails? Simple. So we allowed accounts department to take a call on any payments up to 5,000 or write off up to 5,000. What has changed? 80% of the door knocking has gone. So we freed out his time, right? Then we set up a safety forum. So we said, okay, in case you are going anything about this, then the next person will come into play. The line manager or maybe next person. So the entire journey here, when process creates a lot of chaos and creates a lot of trouble, then there is a much bigger problem. If process reengineering creates such kind of removal of complexity, work flows faster, people get more better results, and they are constantly going to look forward to work to such kind of organizations. Where minimal. So when people have decision-making powers, then they are able to really get you to what they feel is what they can quickly take a decision and move forward. So organization, all those kind of roadblocks were removed from that department. Now, you can understand how much the director's actual possible available time to focus on something which is very important was made available. So these are the 3 things which I thought I should share with you because this is what we have implemented and this gives a lot of good results. So I hope our viewers will also find this very, very and useful.
That was incredibly insightful, Mr. Pandit. And that explanation captures the real fear SMEs have around process change. And your focus on removing clutter rather than adding steps is a refreshing perspective.
Yeah.
Every leader who will be listening this will be learning this. All
True.
right. So moving forward, now we have to go here because every listener has felt this pain. Companies buy tools, they implement ERPs, CRMs, dashboards, and then 6 months later, people are still using Excel and WhatsApp. So tell me this, when you're leading IT implementation and deployment, what's your playbook for making adoption real?
This, trust me, Sunny, this is such a big challenge across the world. Let me help you with a simple example. If you can send me an SMS or a WhatsApp, why would you like to go to a system and do entire entry? Isn't it? Because we are Indians, right? We have great
Right.
difficulty. We very, very powerful mind. So we always thinking, oh, something that is faster, easier, shortcut, I want to use that. Isn't it? Now, if that is available, trust me, ERP is going to ask you so many things that you don't want to really, provide. You feel that is too much of work. I'll give you another simple example. People are happy doing work in Excel. They will type continuously. The same customer name will be typed by them 100 times. They don't feel redundancy. They feel, oh, I'm doing my job. Why? Because Excel is not questioning them. Right? So they are happy typing that entire Excel sheet. As soon as anything moves into structure called forms, Indians are scared. If I ask you to fill in an Aadhaar card form, you will ask somebody to help you. And this is so common across everywhere, right? Information is same. Moment I bring in structure, people are going to feel scared. That's very, very common. That's very, very constant across all verticals, all industry segments, wherever we go. Wherever we go. People are not resisting technology. Please try to understand this. People are constantly resisting frictions. Because something that I can do quickly by a single message, why should I do in entire ERP? If I can pick up a phone call and tell a production guy, produce this much, why should I send any document through this? Now, if you understand this structure well, Sunny, you will realize that how challenging it is going to be for anyone who's going to implement a system. It's a big challenge. People have to be forced. So let's understand this very, very, very clearly so that I'll help you to understand when we go out on implementation, how do we really move this, right? So we are not talking about dashboards at all. We start talking about users, the last mile users. Simple. What is in it for them? So when we were working for one of the advertising company, we realized that there's so much of redundancy happening. We just said nothing doing. One person creates, everybody just updates. Now, if you understand Kanban systems or Kanban way of looking at things, that's the simplest way of implementing process. Now, we got that for them and work started flowing very fast. People had no more problems, right? Now, when we look at this kind of a thing, every user will like to look at the easiest way of doing some job. Complications are something that everybody is going to avoid. So what they want, they are going to look at what is in it for me. So what we do is we go at the last mile, the users, right? Because dashboard is something completely based on what users are providing. Are you clear on this? I mean, are you understanding, Sunny, what I'm trying to tell you? Because until and unless if you do not allow the users to really do good, the dashboard will have nothing if they're not entering any data, right? So the first thing we need to do is we need to go down to the users and see what is their comfort on working. So that's part number one. Because till this point in time, they were not involved in so many details. Now they have to really bring in same details again and again. So what is a faster way for some jobs which are similar in nature, but coming from multiple customers? So can I allow them to create a duplicate job card and just change the name of a client? Now, if I can allow them doing that, this is like a fast system for them. Now, this comfort we created for our customers and users so that they can quickly, duplicate a job card, change the client name because rest all other things are same. And that's very, very important. In spite of doing this, people are still going to have their private Excel, one Excel, two Excels. They're going to maintain Excels, right? Standard. Okay. So the second strategy that we use is called a sunset. So not sunny set, it is sunset. So Sunny, this is so important that at times, we have to go out and tell people that we are going to remove Excel from your system. There'll be no Excel, there'll be no, sheets, nothing doing. We are going to remove everything out of it. You have to only work on this. Now, 99% of time, I have seen the major resistance comes from the directors and the owners. Trust me, because for them, it is too much of a technical work or coding work. Because for them, going forward, if they want to give any production instruction, they have to now go back to system. So for most of the time, whenever it is going to come in for change, it is just not only happening at the ground level, it also happens at the top level. So this is something that we have to handle, right? So we have to handle both sides. So therefore, the easiest way is to say sunset. Hard sunset. We need to get the board aligned. We need to take a final conclusion from them and we have to tell them, boss, sorry. After this, nothing is going to be done on Excel. So that's a strategy number 2. So that helps people to quickly look at that, right? And the third, the most critical one, is actually finding internal influencers. So let's take a simple example. There will be somebody in your organization to whom you go every time. Maybe Excel problem, maybe some technical problem, maybe some production problem. There always is that one person who is actually helping a lot of people because he's aware of it. He knows about the system. He knows how to work. So he's technically more qualified, right? Now we are going to deploy him as an internal influencer. The moment others start looking at him that he's getting more and more efficient using the system, we start getting those rollouts more efficiently at the user level. I'm more focused on user level, right? And moment users participate in the journey, the deployments become very easy. And that's the 3 very, very important points, which I hope people can go back and use in their deployments, because technology is such a thing that everybody is scared because it demands more work, which they don't know. Either ways, they were doing in Excel, which now gets into automation. So we have to handle it with these 3 points. I'm sure people will be able to take this to next level inside their organization. They'll be able to find the internal influencers. They will be able to find the sunsets, hard sunset lines. And of course, very important, they will not focus only on the flashy dashboards, but they will go back at the grassroots level where users are involved. So if we do these 3 things, I'm very sure IT implementation becomes very, very affordable, very quick and very easy for people to really look forward. I hope I have addressed you maybe in a probably extensively longer way.
You made it so simple to understand, Mr. Pandit. You did not talk about platforms and modules or complicated jargons or anything. You talked about behavior, you talked about trust and frontline reality. And, such kind of insights are rare to listen to. And that's the stuff nobody puts into the project charter, but it decides everything in the organization.
See, the complexity of nature of job at every level is going to be having more and more challenges going forward. So we are actually on a path where we will have different sets of challenges going forward. So it's going to be a very, very important journey. So I hope these points help our viewers to probably use it in their regular work or implementation.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right. So before we go into the bigger picture, the challenges, let's keep it light. This is our rapid fire round. Quick answers, no overthinking. First, honest response. So are you up for it?
Absolutely. Yes.
All right. So here I shoot you with the first question. What's the first thing you do when you start your workday?
My first thing I start when as a new day. As a new day, you said, right? Okay. So
your workday.
Workday, yeah. So it starts with reading, then goes to yoga, and then goes to meditation. And from there, the day starts. So reading mandatory. Day one, first thing is reading.
Nice. One book that genuinely influenced your thinking.
The books, you say?
Any one book that genuinely influenced your thinking.
So can I give you 4? So slightly we'll take on to multiple dimensions if you allow me to. So 15 Invaluable Laws is a very important book written by John Maxwell. Second is Think and Grow Rich. It talks a lot about from mindset. Next is Tantra by Osho. And 4th is Karma by Sadhguru. Very important.
must-read books for all, aspiring leaders. It's a
Yeah.
complete balance between professional and personal life. Amazing, amazing. I love the choice. Okay. All right. So moving forward, one habit you have built over the years that quietly improved your life.
Sunny, one thing that if you really ask me, I'll rate consistency. Nothing can defeat or beat consistency. Trust me. I'm so sure that if you want to go places, it is only consistency which can take you there. So consistency is the thing. Yeah.
Great. So if you had a completely you have to completely disconnect for a week, where would you go?
You want to know, Sunny? Okay, let me help you to understand this. I'm a passionate photographer and wildlife is the place. So jungles with camera. Phone
Okay,
switched
great
off, no
answer.
life required. Very,
All
very.
right. So my next question is kind of related to the previous one. What kind of music helps you unwind after a long day? Would you like to
Oh,
take, a boombox to the jungle?
this is very interesting, right? So typically we come. Uh, what matters is very meaningful lyrics are very important, but they well sung. So starts with Mohammad Rafi, Kishore Kumar, Asha ji, Lata ji, R.D. Burman, next choice, very, very important. Instrumental and then classical. So, so it depends on what had the day been, the playlist will shift.
Wow, wow, wow. Great, great. All greats. Amazing. So, all right, next question. One food you can never say no
Oh, Maharashtrian food. Thali.
to.
Very, very important part of our life.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. All right, so finally, the last question of the rapid fire round. One small daily ritual that keeps you grounded.
I strongly believe in reading and meditation because that is something, which always make you feel that you are so small. Because how others have thought so much and way ahead of time. So therefore reading, because reading is very, very important according to me. It keeps you grounded. Second, of course, meditation, because that's where, you understand yourself much better.
Great, great. So that was fun. That was quick, and that's the beauty of this rapid fire round. You
Yeah.
come to know the person behind the profession. Great. All right. So loved all your answers, Julie, and let's move on to the next segment, the bigger picture, where transformation meets the future.
Yeah.
Talking about the challenges, Mr. Pandit, I want to stay grounded in the reality of your client base, especially SMEs across multiple sectors.
Yes.
Right now, leaders are dealing with stacked pressure, customer acquisition costs rising, talent retention challenges, tech disruption, cash flow uncertainty, and constant demand to grow faster. So, from your seat today, what is the most difficult constraint you see businesses struggling with recently? And
So,
part B of my question is, how has that changed the way you advise leadership teams at the top?
okay. So let us look at it from a very, very simple but kind of a lighter perspective. This is typically today, it's more about leadership, cognitive load. So I'll give you a very simple example. A director gets on Monday morning to look at AI. Tuesday morning, he gets another task to look at the probably cultural crisis. And Wednesday, he gets a challenge to, okay, add up at least 15-20% more margin. Thursday, he may get, okay, look at purchase and reduce purchase by X amount of money. Now, if you look at this many things happening parallelly, 4, 5, 6 things happening parallelly, it is practically nothing is getting achieved. Now, when we look at all these things, earlier when we started, we used to talk about do more. But now what we have done is we have actually pulled it back. We say do less but better, best, take one thing, finish it off to the final, and then you move to the next because we're at a very faster pace. I mean, I don't know whether you realize this, that more and more people today are realizing that time is too fast. I don't know whether Sunny, you have realized this. Your day must be also flying.
Absolutely.
Like speed, right? 8 hours gone and you don't even realize. Now, in such kind of a situation, it is going to get very, very, very critical for people to understand that it is now time to do more. No, it is now time to do better. That is going to be very, very essential going forward. Earlier, we used to suggest everyone do more, but now we say do less, but do better, do the best, right? And that's going to be the essential driver for this particular question of yours. This is going to be the very important part. So what we have done is we now have shifted the approach from growth to contribution margin. We're not talking purely one-sided growth, because growth by and large will talk about the top line. Here I'm talking about contribution margin, and that's what I'm talking constantly about revenue generation. I'm talking more about profits that you're making for the organization. The very fundamental shift here has happened over a period of time because things have changed. Things have changed. At every level. Sunny, you go out and see yourself, whatever you're buying or whatever you're purchasing today, things are constantly changing. They're changing at a much faster pace. Now, under such circumstances, it is very important for everyone to understand that each and everyone has to go out and understand the part that now he needs to contribute into margins. So it's going back to unit economy. It is now no more going to stay in growth in, only onto volumes. It is going to be onto the unit economy as well. And that's the first essential part, Sunny, which I will, refer to in the question that you are really asking me. That's going to be very, very, very important for people to get themselves aligned quickly going forward. Now, let us go to the second part of it. Now, when we are talking about strategies, right, radical strategies, the things are shrinking continuously. Now, what we are telling people is look at 1 quarter thematic goal. Rather than going on 1 year and we're going to do this, we're saying, okay, 1 quarter, what is the thematic goal? Take one thing and get it rolled out. Ensure that it is generating the adequate results for you. So now, instead of a full 12 months, we started monitoring on a quarterly basis, thematic goals. Now, this has changed so much for so many companies because instead of 12 months, now we've shrunk everything in 3 months. And now we are observing that because we have to match up with the pace, right? So that side, what we have changed in our practice is now more on thematic goals. So that everyone is very much on pace and then everything gets very, very fast. The third thing, which I have constantly started realizing this, and this is very off late, is AI. I mean, there's so much of threat. People have started looking at AI as infrastructure. I strongly recommend, please do not treat AI as a project. Answer a question as simple as this, that in my broken process, where can AI come in and plug in that gap? Make AI not be looked at as a disruption, but let it be as a base load infrastructure for you, who will actually carry that for you. So people are suddenly, thinking so much about AI because AI is spoken everywhere. And at a point in time, it is going to come into every industry, right? When I talk about AI, everyone is already, impacted by AI. We only don't know that it is AI. So a very simple example, if you go to social media, whatever they are suggesting is all AI, right? If you look at your phone, there's so much thing happening on your phone which is AI based, all algorithm based. If you go to one level below, you can see all the vehicles, humanless vehicles getting driven on road. What are they? Those are AI, right? And the last perspective in here is where entire work will be carried out by AI. So there are different things which are happening in the space of AI. AI has already entered your life. It is not that it's going to enter. So why look at it as a project? Why not look at it as a supplement to your structure? I strongly recommend people that please use AI to actually look at it from a perspective that in my broken process, where can AI come in and add value? Can I use it as a tool to really help me in that structure as a companion rather than looking at it as something very difficult. So this is going to be very important for the people at the leadership to understand that all this cognitive, leadership cognitive load which I was talking about has to be managed well going forward. Things are changing at a much faster pace. And all companies, all directors, all people, everybody working in organization will have to, adapt to this. Maybe they realize it today or maybe tomorrow, but they will have to fall in line with this concept. I hope I addressed your question, Sunny.
Absolutely. In fact, Ms. Pandit, what stands out is how you have captured the tension owners live with every single day. And you did not sugarcoat it. Thank you so much for that. You painted the real pressure that never makes it to the balance sheet. So that kind of insights are really rare to be shared. Uh, Having said that, this
Sunny,
brings
can
us
I
to the
just help
last
you with
question.
one more point here?
Please,
Just
please,
just
please go
add this
ahead.
quickly to what we spoke just now and what you really concluded. Understand one thing: all balance sheets, all numbers are always, end results of your efforts now. I tell everyone this thing that it is not anything that you're going to achieve tomorrow by not doing anything today in this now. So the moment you understand this, that all those sales number, all those growth, everything is going to happen. It's a cumulative result or a balance sheet of what you did every time in now. And that's what I want everyone to really understand. It is always about now. All those things are always going to tell you what you did in the past. So it's always about now. And if as fast people can understand this, that I'm very sure that's going to help them a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In fact, that's the success mantra. It's now or never.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, great. So that brings us to the last segment of the podcast. In fact, the last question. Mr. Pandit, you have spent years driving execution inside businesses.
Yeah.
So after joining Directors Institute, what changed for you personally in how you view leadership and decision making? In a line or two, what new perspectives did that exposure give you?
So, Sunny, let us look at it from a few points. Okay. So let me first start with my own journey, right? So we are a consulting firm. We are not in any boardrooms. Okay, we are not there. So those are typically blind spots because what is happening inside, how they are taking certain decisions, what is happening over there, we're not part of it. Okay. So with particularly in this kind of an environment where I'm actually learning a lot from the board perspective. So that is something that I'm really feeling very happy about because that is adding a lot of additional knowledge and information for me. Right. That's helping me so much because I can now understand a lot of things which earlier we would be very negligible or negligent about because that was never really part of what we were offering. So that's the first thing which is really, really, really important for us. So that's how I look at it. Second part in this is the exposure to Companies Act. Now, that is something, the shares, the entire journey in that space is very, very, very essential going forward because more and more companies in India are going to be listed. They would like to come up with their IPOs. They would like to bring in something new. They are going to either be private limited, not listed. So that again, that's just point number two, which has been very, very important for me. The third in this, Sunny, is ESG. Now, trust me, this is going to be the future. It's already everybody is aware of it. People are speaking about it, but it is happening at a much higher, sizably big organizations. That ESG is really taking a much higher precedence. It is going to come down to private limited, to probably LLPs and further below. Everyone will have to be aware and everybody will have to really contribute towards that. Now, ESG is something that is so important in this journey that I'm learning, and I'm so happy that I've been part of this. Like that's very, very important because at end of the day, it is all going to be environmental issues, right? We're going to have to really be part of this, and these are the very three important components in this. And lastly, the entire team that is supporting, which is everybody, right from all those who did the first interview, first onboarding, who are constantly working along with me because I'm really a bad person to manage because I'm managing so many things, right? So it is so difficult. So maybe it can be everyone in the team, right from the very early team to will all up till probably you are also one of the team member, and I'm very thankful to all of you being really on my back saying that, okay, when are we doing that? So that had been so kind of all of you, and that is something amazing. The team is amazing, and I'm very sure we will have fantastic results using these concepts which are new to me particularly, and I'm really happy the way it is going for me. I
Great to hear that, Mr. Pandit. And what I love is how honestly you spoke about the shift from pure execution to thoughtful decision making. And that's a transition very few leaders articulate so clearly. So great. Wow, what a wonderful conversation we had today. And let me thank you for joining us today and for sharing your thinking so openly with us. What really stands out in this conversation is that you don't treat transformation like a buzzword. You treat it like a discipline, where customer lifecycle becomes a system, where process becomes a profit lever, and the technology becomes useful only when humans actually use it.
Absolutely.
Right? So for everyone watching and listening, if you take one message from today, let it be this. Profitability isn't luck. It's design, it's hard work, and it's now. All right. So from acquisitions to retentions to money in the bank. Profitability isn't luck, it's design. All right. So on behalf of Directors Institute, World Council of Directors, and everyone tuned in, Mr. Pandit, thank you so much for your time, your insights, and the work you are doing to make businesses sharper, faster, and more profitable. Thank you once again for joining us.
Thank you, Sunny. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for watching this podcast. And I believe I would be able to add some value to all of you. Amazing team. Thank you everyone. Back into the entire team members all across in Director Institute. Thank you so much, Sunny, for pulling up time and inviting me today for this entire journey. Thank you for all the questions. You made my life difficult, but I hope I addressed all of them. Thank you so much. Amazing.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I love your sense of humor. And yes, once again, thank you so much for joining us and sharing your valuable insights with us. And to our audience, thank you for joining us on FaceTime with Leaders. I'm your host, Sunny Pancholi, signing off for now. I will see you in the next episode. Thank you so much.